GM.
GM guys.
Spam, I didn't realize you had eyes behind those glasses.
Yeah, I know.
GM.
I just revealed those tough docs.
Truly.
Eyes now.
How are we doing today? Markets are starting to pull back a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, market's actually. I was just looking at the charts just now, and I feel like this is the correction, but it's also just such an obvious area to go short that I'm also like wary of being bearish here. Can easily see another leg up, to be honest. I guess we'll go more into that later.
Yeah, I think it really depends on if people are scared to short, which I think was the case like a day ago, then that was kind of the recipe for like a short-term pullback. But now it's definitely approaching a place where we could get another leg up because I could definitely see a lot of people opening up shorts.
Like in the morning when we started dipping down to where we get down to, got down to like 92K, right? A lot of shorts just started opening up there, and now they're getting trapped on this move up at New York Open. Yeah, I think it's gonna be very tricky. I can see us possibly going up to 96K before we finally correct.
I'm surprised the stock market. I'm just looking at the S&P 500, but I'm surprised it's not going down after China has like said that the trade talks is like they're not actually happening.
Yeah.
I thought we would get some sort of reaction off that. Here, you want to pull up charts? Do you want to start, Fish?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm like super jet lagged. I literally just woke up half an hour ago.
Worse.
Jet lag and like bronchitis is not a good combination.
That sounds
Okay. Anyways, this is where we're at today. Let's kind of recap through this week, right? The past 2 weeks. So I think this area right here, like this chop between 86K and 83K, was what wrecked a lot of people. You know, we were kind of just, not breaking either side. And even me, I got trapped here. I was kind of short. And then I think what happens was like as we continue to consolidate here, more and more shorts built up, especially off the back of like bad macro tariff scares, all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly when the new week started, we just sold this massive move up, right? Like the craziest candle. I think literally as time ticked 00 midnight UTC on Monday, there's not even a dip. It's just like a straight up candle. Like there's no wick, just all body to this, right? And ever since then, we've just been going up like crazy, and people are honestly just confused by it. And the order flow, which I'll get into a second, actually shows people like trying to short up here, and that's like the perfect indicator of a hated rally, right? So I did say previously that this area of 93K is like a huge resistance area, and that's because we have a lot of levels. I know my chart's a bit messy, but for example, this level here, that's the yearly open, okay? And that historically has been an area of resistance for us. Let me paint it to different color. Yearly open, let's paint it dark green, okay? Well, let's paint it brighter green. There we go. So you can see the yearly open, like if I try to zoom out a little bit, that's historically been an area of support and resistance. So ever since that massive nuke in like late February, we haven't been able to reclaim that. And now we're just struggling. We're currently like doing this thing where we're look like we're rejecting, but we're also not fully rejecting yet. So the question right now is like, are we pulling back right now, or are we consolidating underneath the yearly open? And usually like a lot of auction theorists say that the longer you consolidate under resistance, actually eventually it'll break resistance, right? So I'm kind of monitoring that right now. I am short and I am in a little bit of profit, but if it fails to break down, then I would be inclined to cut it quickly. So going back here, right? So our previous range was this. So this volume profile is taken from this range up here, right? All the way to the point where we start dumping in the last week of February. And you can see the colored components is the value area high, value area low. It's one standard deviation. So 68% of volume was between 102K to 93.5K. And then we broke volume, we came down here. And now we're coming back up and we're now trying to retest that volume again. So this is like currently the most pivotal area for us. And if we are able to get acceptance above the yearly open, that's obviously very bullish. And it means acceptance into this range, this volume area above. You know, it might just like kind of break up and then maybe 96K, but the main thing is like it's now being accepted into this volume area. And a lot of theorists will say that means that we can expect a rotation up to the volume area high, which is like 102K, right? And as you can imagine, if that's the case, then shit will just fly. But right now we are still sitting at this resistance. I wouldn't say that we are pulling, like we're rejecting it, but we are definitely struggling. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we are rejecting completely yet. I think there still needs to be, like, I think there's several scenarios here. Either we pull back, like a strong pullback, and we come back to this value area here down here, which is between 88.5 to 80K. And honestly, if we do pull back, like I can see a lot of people trying to buy the first pullback. It bounced a little bit, but then it eventually dumps back down more. And it's like when we were here, everyone was not bullish, but then now that we come back here, everyone wants to start buying again. And it's often the case that it will sometimes even go lower than what you expected, right? You bought the dip and it goes down to like 80.5 and it also wipes out your longs and you're like, fuck this shit, I hate this game. That is very common. Or the other scenario. So this first scenario is like we just dump down. The second scenario is we kind of consolidate here. Okay. And I think that's more bullish. If we end up consolidating there, I would, like, if we don't break down after today, I'll be like, fuck it, I need to cut this short. Kind of learned my lesson here. Like, we didn't break down between 83, 86K. And what ended up happening is like a lot of shorts build up here because they're like, well, at resistance, it's failing to break up. They start shorting, and then one day you get, boom, it breaks up again, and then the shorts get wrecked. Okay. So that's kind of the two scenarios I can see here. I would, if it does reject, like I can see people wanting to bid, probably 90K is a random number, probably this area to 88K. I would refrain from bidding until at least 84. But honestly, I would not start bidding until these longs down here. Put color. So I have a lot of fucking colors. I hope this part just makes sense, guys. I would not want to bid until these longs get wiped out. Like you can tell there's a lot of stop losses here. I want to see those wiped out. Like I want to see this, like a little bounce, dip buyers are celebrating, then they get wrecked, and then we take out these longs as well before I finally get long. So that's kind of the two scenarios here. If we do consolidate here and I close my short, will I get long? Me personally, I just hate buying shit like that's pretty pumped. I know it's so tempting. Like if you were sidelined, you're like, fuck it. This is like by the time that if you were sidelined here, I can see a lot of people just getting really impatient and then buying this, and then them celebrating when it gets right, only for us to deviate, right? You shouldn't trading like a binary decision whether you're right on the initial move, because it's very often what happens is you can be right on the initial move, but you're also just not quick enough to manage it. And actually, trade management is a huge important thing, which is why some of these guys can take a lot of scalps a day, right? Because they're also just really good at knowing when to cut. And most people don't know when to cut. And what happens is they could be right initial move, but then they fail to manage it quickly, and then they get stopped out like that. So that's what I'm kind of looking at on Bitcoin here. Let's look at order flow. So right now, what I'm seeing, so the second box here is open interest. And ever since this move up from 84K, we've had quite a lot of open interest build up. And this is why a lot of people were getting bearish, because they were like, whoa, we had 22.7K of Bitcoin, which is like, if we look at 22,750 times, let's say 92,500, that's $2 billion worth of open interest built up, right? However, we have now started to unwind a lot of that. So all that remains is 7K. So we've actually shaved off 15K of open interest, which is actually really good. Usually you want to see like 70% of open interest unwound before making any moves up, which is why I'm like hesitant right now to be short. I can easily see like this move up wiped out a lot of shorts right here. This huge red candle, you see that? It wiped out a lot of shorts. We know they're short because, sorry, I have a lot of CBD lines, but the blue and orange is like perps lines, is Bybit and Binance, and they went up. And also you see this like this green liquidation candle, that is shorts getting wrecked. So shorts got squeezed hard above, at 94K. And this was the candle where Trump, I think, announced reduced tariffs on China. And this is like also after hours, this is like people like screaming in TradFi world, this is manipulation, blah, blah. After he had like a closed door meeting with JP Morgan and all those kind of guys. Anyways, coming back to here. So we have unwound, like the shorts got wrecked here. Then also, I think what you're seeing here is some OI closing, and that's probably longs closing too. So longs closing here, whilst price has been remaining stable, that's actually healthy for more continuation. So that's like an argument for more continuation to go up here. And if we come to here, this is also order flow. I like this better because it gives me a better look to see where people are positioned. I like to use the Bybit market to analyze BTC just because Bybit is where all the apes are. And so top row is price, second row is CBD, third row is open interest. And you can see here, like, I don't think I can draw on this, by the way. So I'll kind of just point out with my mouse. So here, we are actually making a higher low here, but CBD is making a lower low, right? And kind of OI is also decreasing. So most of this CBD going down is because longs are closing. But if you come here, you see that like in this area here, you see like this area, you have open interest increasing, but then the delta of this candle is very red, right? It means shorts were opening here. So we had 15 millions of short here. We had 4.3 million of shorts here. This is a long closing, which is, it's a red open interest, but red delta, so that's longs closing. But then we also have another blue open interest. So open interest increasing, red delta here. So this is shorts opening. So people are like really actively shorting here. And Basically there is retail market shorting. So CBD is getting lower whilst price is going higher. They are getting absorbed here. Okay. Doesn't necessarily mean that they'll always go up. Like doesn't necessarily mean that the limit buys. Because if you're market shorting, market selling, then someone has to take the opposite side of the trade, which is limit buys, right? And that's usually market makers or whales because they don't like to enter the market with market orders. So usually they tend to win, but it's not always the case. Sometimes when the market becomes very frenetic, the market orders tend to win out over the market makers. People don't know this, but market makers lose money when things are very euphoric. But they make it back in like the rest of the year when markets is ranging, and most of the time Bitcoin is ranging. So this is actually a perfect setup for a trapped short. Like these guys here, they could easily get trapped, and I think they're starting to get trapped here. But does it mean that we'll go up completely? I don't know. I'm still holding my shorts from up here, from like 93.5. But yeah, I'm monitoring this quite actively. I don't like how people are just shorting here. Also, if we come to the top here, right? I'm actually not seeing a lot of longs open. Okay. My favorite setup right now to trade is like a trap long setup or trap short setup. So I identified 93K, 94K as the resistance zone. And what I wanted to see on these sweeps to 95K was like a longs opening. And if we look at areas where open interest increased, I don't see longs opening. You see, we have open interest increasing here, but that's red delta, so that's shorts opening. We have blue delta here, but that's because shorts are getting wrecked, right? So that's not because of new longs getting trapped. So actually, there's just not a lot of longs opening. There's some longs opening here, so 4.7 million with blue open interest, 5.9 million blue delta. But it's not a lot. It's honestly not a lot. I think the market sentiment, like ignoring CT sentiment, I don't like to index for CT sentiment a lot. Just going by what I see in the data, I think people are still quite happy to short and very hesitant to long. Okay. And that is a reason why I'm also hesitant to be short right now. We can also look at the other markets. So ExoChart's great. It gives you all the different separate markets. This is BTC linear. I was looking at Bybit linear. I was looking at Bybit inverse. Bybit inverse is where all the apes are. Kind of the same picture here. We're not really seeing the CBD bearish divergences. I'm not seeing higher highs on CBD, and whilst price makes lower lows. Also not seeing a ton of longs opening. I think there's some longs opening here, but generally not a lot. Generally not a lot. And we look at Binance as well. Come here. I think we're not seeing any kind of divergence here. Like there's no higher high on CBD whilst price is making a lower low. Saying that though, I think what will happen usually when we see this kind of pattern is like price just continues to range until one side gets too aggressive and then that side gets swept, which is basically the same thing that happened in that 83 to 86K range. So even though I'm publicly short, I am monitoring this quite aggressively. I don't want to make the same mistake I did when I got blown out on my short at 86K. If I see way too many shorts opening and not enough longs opening, then I'll be hesitant to stay in my short. And that's basically how I'm thinking about it right now. I've also set my stop loss at break even just to ensure that I don't lose money on this trade. But yeah, that's kind of like my thought process right now.
Yeah, I think
so. Let's just look at order book really quickly. Honestly, I feel like I've been psyops. Like order book stuff can often psyops you, which is what's been done in the past 2 weeks. We're seeing here that like someone on Binance is just he's consistently just keeping up price, right? This is probably why price has gone up. But he also does this thing where he has stacked ass, and it can induce a lot of shorts, market shorting, and then he just moves up and wipes them out. So it's very, very tricky. It's like one of these scenarios where, like, if we do go down here, he also doesn't want you to win as a bear. This is why, like, trading is very hard. All right, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think the market between last week and this week, it's still just very confusing. This does really feel like a hated rally, though. Like, I think a lot of people probably started closing out positions like in the weeks going into this, and then now a lot of people probably are sidelined on the way back up.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the macro stuff, like, NASDAQ is recovering pretty amazingly. We were at some 1.60, 16.5. Now we're at 19K. MicroStrategy is doing quite well. The chart looks good. Yeah, I mean, stocks are looking good today. They're up for the day. Bond yields, so 10-year Treasury note yields, people worried about it going up too much. Actually, it's not coming down as much as we want either. So this move here was like what got people really scared. When the yield goes high, that's bearish, especially if the stocks are going down as well. I don't think we're out the woods yet. I think what would give people confidence that we're so back is a combination of, I'm not a macro expert, but this is what I've gleaned from people on Twitter, is we want the bond yields to go down and the stocks to go up, right? Right now we're seeing stocks recover, but we're not seeing the bond yields go down to make us think, okay, we're back. Like, tariff drama is over.
I think the thing that's the most confusing about this stage of the market right now is the tariff thing. Like, as of right now, America still has tariffs on. Wait, actually, I don't even know. Did Trump pause all tariffs on everyone but China, or did he just pause the reciprocal higher tariffs?
I think he reduced China's, but he's also said, I think Besant came on yesterday and said, well, a trade deal is going to take 2 to 3 years, and he hasn't stopped, tariffs on other countries. Also, I think EU and China are working on something to lift sanctions. So there's definitely going to be more drama. It's funny because I remember when we were at this level, around 80K, right? I said, guys, don't get too bear hold here. Everyone was bearish. Everyone on LJ Discord was so max bearish, and I was saying, don't get too bear hold here. Late April can be good. It only takes one good news for shit to pump. The worst part was I didn't listen to my advice. I was short here, and I ended up losing money on my short. But hey, you live and you learn. I want to be transparent as well. I literally just document all my trades publicly, and I want people to know that even though I was winning a lot in this area, I also lost a lot in this area. So, you sometimes you win some, you sometimes lose some. This is why also, I was correct in my analysis that we could see a good pump late April, but I didn't follow up on my analysis, right? And this is why you can be a good analyst, but being a good trader is completely different.
Yeah. I think my trade management is the thing that I got to work on the most. I get scared and move my stop loss up way too early, and I'll stop myself out all the time.
Yeah, that's fine though. Everyone has a different problem, emotional problem when it comes to trading. There was a book that I recommended to someone. It's called The Mental Game of Trading. And some people it's like fear. It sounds like yours might be fear of losing, which is why you have aggressive stop losses. Mine tends to be overconfidence. Like I tend to just be way overconfident when it comes to getting into a trade, and sometimes I'll size up too big. And when things don't go my way, like I fail to adapt and adjust, right? Um, yeah, I think everyone has like a mental issue with their game, and it always helps to work on that.
Yeah, I think you actually shared some advice recently in Discord about like instead of defining your profit on trades, defining your risk. And so I
Yes.
started paying a lot more attention to the like how much I'll lose at my initial stop loss price. And if I'm comfortable losing whatever that is, then I don't have to be as like emotionally attached to the trade. I can be like, either it's
Oh yeah.
gonna profit or I'm gonna lose, X dollars. And if I'm okay with that number, then it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, let's walk through that because I feel like people still don't understand that, right? So let's say we want to get short right now, okay? And the price is what, 92,850. And I put the stop loss here at 95,250, okay? And let's say I just target this area, which is 78,500. So what people do is like just put entry equals 92,850, SL 95,250, right? What people do is like they think much about they only think about how much they can earn, right? So they just go in saying, um, position size, let's say 10K, okay? What you should be doing first instead is defining how much you're willing to lose. So what that means mathematically, and it can be a little bit difficult to calculate, which is why I like to use terminals to trade like in silico because they auto calculate position size for you based on how much you want to risk, right? So let's say I only want to risk $1,000, okay? So risk $1,000. It means when price hits my stop loss of 95,250, then I only lose $1,000. So what does my position size look like then? My position size should be let's see, 92,850 divided by 95,250 minus 1. So I'm just doing this on my calculator right now. I want to make sure I got it right. Okay, it should be 1,000 over 92,850, 95,250. Shit. Okay, and then minus 1. Which equals roughly, I've calculated it's 39,687. Does that make sense? So doing this calculation, actually your position size should be 40K, which is actually larger. Let's say you want to go in with 100K, okay? This is what people usually do. Like they don't calculate their risk beforehand. They only they just say, okay, I want to go in 100K. And if price goes to like, 78K, then I stand to make this much when I hit my target. But actually you should be going in with your risk defined first. This is why like, some people they go all in with their trades, like it's very common. And then you need to like have many lives to win. Okay. This is why even though I got wrecked on this short, I'm still okay. Like I'm not blown out, I did win a lot here and I basically given away a lot of my profits on this move up. But I'm still alive, I'm still like grinding, a little bit tilted, but I'm recuperating right now and just like I have like so many lives to survive. And this is how you should be approaching trading.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice for anyone who wants to trade. I think, which, I'm probably still working on myself, but I think when you get into crypto, you tend to just start trading willy nilly just because that's kind of,
Yeah.
like
I call
unless
it
you're coming into
impulse
your
control.
experience.
Impulse control is like I was reading, I think it's very good to start, if you want to do this, like people, let me just say first things, like very few people are profitable traders over the long run. And I can almost guarantee you that a lot of these KOLs on CT that seem like they're winning a lot, I guarantee you most of them are not winning over the long run. Most of them, the ones that are winning, they either are smart and only choose to enter trades at like specific times of the year when there's like literally easy money to be made, right? This is not easy money right now. This is hard money. Okay. Or they're just losing money, or they're like making money by stealing ref links or stealing shitcoins. Okay. Like I guarantee you most people are not winning traders. The people who are winning traders, they have to have like it doesn't matter like all this theory stuff about the lines resistance, like it's actually not as important as first of all risk management, so knowing how much you can risk on each trade, and the second part is consistency. Like you can be good trader, be disciplined, but if you're not able to control your tilt and go on these massive losing runs, avoid going on these massive losing runs, then that's always going to hurt your bankroll. And the last part is impulse control. Like I think everyone can relate to this. Impulse control is basically, you know, you wake up, you check the charts, you haven't even got out of bed yet, and you start taking trades based on just like what you see and not on like sitting down, analyzing the market, thinking things through, right? Which is why I really recommend people to start writing your trades, start writing them on Discord. That's why we have channels in our Discord for that. When I started like making daily analysis every day, it has improved my trading a lot because I've noticed times when you start sharing things that you only feel you have conviction in, and I've noticed times where I will say one thing to you guys but then not follow my advice, and that's when I tend to lose money. For example, in this 83 to 86K range, I was telling you guys don't get short here. Okay, don't get short here because I can see people getting blown out. I got short myself and I got blown out, and that's like a learning point for me.
Yeah, you did say that. I do remember you
I
saying
did
that.
say that, yeah. I was saying this is a high risk short, but I took it, but I was like, you know what? I would never recommend people to get short here because like you need to adapt quickly. But yeah, it's a very good mechanic. Like honestly, I recommend people, and don't be embarrassed to think, oh, I have nothing valid to add. Like it's fine, like the point of this is to share what you think, get some feedback from other people, but also it helps you with your trading as well. Like it is very important to document your trades. It makes you more accountable to your own thought processes.
Yeah, I think the LHA Discord of late has definitely gotten to be a really good place for this. I think the conversation quality has moved up quite a lot, and there's a lot of people discussing their thoughts and stuff, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole point of this, right? Like, just from my own personal experience, I I I've grown a disdain for CT over the past 2 years. I've been around in crypto since 2018, okay? And I used to be able to get all my alpha just from, following certain people on Twitter. Now it's like it's a lot of noise. And I did lose money like just following calls, and I'm pretty sure everyone has the same story here. And it made me want to go on a path where I wanted to be less dependent and learn shit on my own. This is why I started learning all this. I'm like, I'm sick of having to rely on people, right? And I've come to realize that like the reason why CT is so bad is not because everyone's too busy shilling, but a it's also a toxic feedback loop. Because I've been in that situation where I posted bearish takes on CT before, and people hate you. Like people actually think you're a fucking asshole. People say, "Oh, why are you so bearish? Why are you so blah?" I'm like, well, it means like when people start doing that, they're not able to share things candidly anymore, and it becomes an echo chamber where everyone always seems like they're bullish and they're winning, but really they're not, you know? And it's usually like the best alpha is usually found in private groups, group chats, Discord groups, or Telegram groups. For some reason, people feel like, they're happy to share their real thoughts there. And that's what really matters. One thing that was surprising to me is like, even the biggest AVAX bull, Johnny Sarker, right? On Twitter, he's like always bullish. And then on Discord, he was publicly telling us, yeah, I've been, selling AVAX, shorting AVAX here. And I was like, whoa, you actually understand the short button? Like, I did not expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, would not have guessed it. But he seems like he doesn't obviously broadcast his losses quite as frequently, but he seems like he's a pretty good day trader. I don't know how he does it. He
People have to understand, like, we're all like crypto bros here, right? We all have egos. A lot of people are in this boat where they're just way too ashamed to post their losses. Okay. And I guarantee you, where is it? When we were here, I guarantee you a lot of people got blown out. Okay. This is not like the sentiment here did not match what I was seeing on the price and the number of liquidations that was being seen. Like this move down was like FTX level liquidation. Okay. People who made like, 7 figures, 8 figures, they got blown out here for sure. I guarantee you it. But they're too, but it's just a space where like you don't want to show your weaknesses on CT. You feel ashamed. And I understand it, like, people follow you for your clout and stuff, but like you're like, well, I have to keep up that face now, right? And that's kind of reason why I wanted the losses channel to be there. Like, it's important that we share losses, not also as a place for us to like grieve and move on, but also like, just to show that you're not alone here, right? Like I think in the beginning when we opened that channel, people were posting all their blub losses and wick losses, and it was actually nice for people because like, well, I lost money here, but I'm not alone, right? Like we're all fucking retards. But that's great.
Yeah.
Like that's how we improve. That's how the experience should be,
Yeah, totally agree. I think we've all had those days. Like I think my worst day ever was like a couple months ago where I had finally like gotten this trading account back into profit after like a year's worth of work. And in the same day, the market just turned around completely and the account almost went to zero, like worse than it had been at any point in the span of 24 hours. And it's just like those type of days, it's hard you got to have a place to go,
Well, it's funny because I've been like trying to improve my own trading too, right? And I have improved a lot. And one guy told me, you should aim to become a break-even trader first. And that suddenly made so much sense to me. He's like, if you can consistently be a break-even trader, then you can consistently become a minor profitable trader. And if you can consistently become a minorly profitable trader, you can consistently become a majorly profitable trader. Like the skill difference between break-even trader and super profitable is not that big. It's not like a linear progression where the more skilled you are, the more profit you win. It's actually like once you reach a threshold, you can just win a lot. And that's sometimes sometimes when we embark on this career, on this path, we think to ourselves like we need to learn more and stuff, but actually we just need to improve. Like everyone has a game, a B game, a C game, and actually the mental the trading book that I recommend to people, the mental game trading, goes through this. Everyone like depending on what mood you're in or how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, like you have an A game where you're just on top of your game, a B game, and a C game, which is like your worst game, right? And when we think about trading, we always think about improving our A game, right? But no one ever thinks about improving our C game. And actually, the way to win is just to make sure your C game gets better. Like you don't even need to improve your A game that much. Just always be actively improving your C game.
I like that a lot.
Right. Anyways, I will shut up now and let other people talk.
Thanks for sharing. I'll go ahead and pull up a screen. I'll just share my one fumble from the week real quick since we're talking about that. When we were down at the bottom, I was building a Sui short, or sorry, not a Sui short, a Sui long. And like I think I had my entry average in the like 215, 216 region. And the exact thing that I said earlier where I get worried and I move my stop loss up. My stop loss was originally like down here. And then once we moved to here, I moved it up to basically this line, came down, hit my stop loss, and now it's moved up like 50% or more. Yeah, 50% exactly. So you hate to see it. So that was my one hedge long in the last little period, and got stopped out on it. So I definitely felt a little sidelined on this pump, which kind of sucks. But as of right now, to be honest, I don't really have any like really good altcoin setups. I think we're once again in one of those very difficult places where it could kind of go either way. Like a lot of these coins are coming into like short-term support, where you could either expect this to be like the continuation bounce. So like move up to here, comes down a little bit. I drew this last time. I'm pretty sure this short is not going to play out, at least not yet. But we had the pump yesterday, comes up all the way here. And then a lot of altcoin charts are going to look very similar, where they're going to be coming down a little bit. They might hit like a fib level. Let me see if I draw a fib. I don't really use fibs very frequently, but all right. So they're not even coming down very far either. But yeah, and then we're bouncing. So this is kind of the spot where it's going to either roll over, and this is going to be that first lower high on the short-term time frames, like on the 15-minute, or we're going to get continuation higher. Pretty much every chart's going to look the same. So I would just be watching pretty intensely if you're going to be trying to open positions. I think you have a lot of opportunity depending on how things play out.
I think alts are more dangerous to short than Bitcoin right now, just because I feel like if Bitcoin kind of just ranges right now underneath 93Ks as it is doing right now, each time like Bitcoin moves up even just a few like percentage points, alts will pump a little bit higher.
Yeah,
And
I do think
actually, if you go to Bitcoin dominance, we're actually at a level that has historically been resistance. Right now, we're 64%. I actually don't like using Bitcoin dominance as a proxy for alt season, but people do look at it, and we're at a level where like we haven't reached 64% since early 2021, which is right around the time when the last proper bull run started.
this is kind of insane.
Yeah, this is what a lot of people are looking at right now. Is like, this is why I think even if Bitcoin goes down a little bit, alts can continue to pump.
Yeah, this is a pretty insane chart. I don't think I've zoomed out on this in a while.
Yeah, and even like you're starting to see now as Bitcoin has been kind of pulling back a little bit, it also pumped a little bit, and then suddenly I think some altcoins just pumped even harder. When you see that kind of relative pump to Bitcoin, actually I like to use the other BTC chart. Do you know how to do comparison charts?
Can you just type them in, or do you have to do something?
So if you know, if you go to do you know how to do go back to the screen? No, the go back to the chart on the top left, others.
Right. So others.
Yeah, select, yeah, go to the top left where it says others. Yeah, click on that. Now type others and then slash. And then BTC. Yeah, just pick any one of those. There we go. So this is this right? Yeah, others BTC. So this compares, others is the it's like total 3. It's the total market cap minus the top 10. And then it compares it to BTC. So when it's going up, it means that alts are increasing relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean
I
this
don't know.
chart.
I don't know why yours looks different to mine, but it's kind of the same similar chart. Yeah, I mean, right now, like Bitcoin's pumping, and some altcoins are now starting to recover.
I mean, this does definitely look like. I mean, you got a clear higher low here if this holds on the daily. So if you get up above this, I don't know if this chart is correct, but if you get up above this level, which is still a ways to go, but that's
Yeah, I
going to
mean,
definitely signal.
I don't like to trade these charts. I don't like to look at these relative charts too much because, like, same with EPTC, right? Everyone always looks at the chart. I don't like to look at them too much because no one actually trades these charts, right? No one's trading EPTC, or well, some of them are, but it's not a big market. But they do look at it a lot, and yeah, the others BTC USD, like it's reaching a point. If you go to the daily chart, yeah, it's reaching like the bottom. It's hit the bottom, I think. It looks like it might have bottomed. It also aligns a little bit with the altcoin, the Bitcoin dominance. I definitely think this is why I think even if we do pull back, like alts can still continue to pump.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get some sort of long position in. Looks like I might have missed my momentary pullback though.
I still think that if, like, you know, obviously I'm short, but I think for most people, you're just better off waiting for a pullback. So we move into trenches. Maybe we should talk about some of the new launches, like Boy, for example.
Yeah, sure. Let's hop in. This was a crazy one yesterday. The Trump pump.
Just exit liquidity, right?
Yeah, wasn't there an unlock this week or something? I saw Murloc
Yeah, I
posted
saw that
that.
too.
I
Yeah,
think
that
it
would
was
explain it.
10 days ago or something, and now they are unlocking tokens every day or something.
This thing is going to go to zero over time for sure. It's crazy that it's still. I guess a lot of this is still behind unlocks, but 12 billion fully diluted value. Like, there's a lot of room to the downside to go if unlocks start selling. So, but anyway, we can go check out the actual trenches. So, what's trending over the last?
We have Secret X.
Yeah, I
It was
think Coy
trending,
posted about this, didn't he?
but it went down a lot now.
Let's see.
So it's the kind of pump and dump chart. Well, you are in profit if you buy early, but if you buy when you hear about it on Twitter, you're fucked up already. You're just the exit liquidity.
So like I think the lore behind this one is there's some sort of X group with Elon, Trump, something else, but it kind of looks like the chart might be cooked. Yeah, I don't know. If there was a spot to enter, this would probably be a decent one. What did this go up to? 3.5 million. It's back below 1 million.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going. It might die in few hours or in few days.
Yeah,
I don't think this kind of token can recover.
probably
It's
not.
just based on the secret conversation between Trump and Musk, but we don't really care about it.
This one is insane. Koi called this one, I think at like 2 million or something.
We are still on your Twitter, but I believe you are talking about Dark.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change tabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Dark
is crazy.
might be a runner. Like,
I mean, it already is,
yeah,
but this, I mean, it looks like it's trying to break out even higher. Isn't this like an AI something?
yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
missed this one.
Oh yeah, isn't it's like I think I saw something that it's what was it called? Did any of you guys read the Three Body Problem series?
That was that Netflix show, right?
Yeah, it was a book that they made a show about. Oh yeah, the second book was called The Dark Forest, which I think that's what this is a reference to. Which it's the Dark Forest is a concept that came before the book, but I think the idea is like there's all of these planets in the universe, and the reason why we can't contact other planets with life is because if uh, basically if you contact another planet and they know about you being an intelligent creature, you can never know for sure if they're going to be a friend or foe. And so the default for your own safety is to assume foe. And so like the Dark Forest is like this idea that the reason why no one is speaking in the universe is because if they do, they might just get destroyed by some other thing. And so I think this game, like this is some sort of AI game with like planets and different AIs that are like talking to each other or something. I don't know. It is kind of cool. I would not have guessed that. To be honest, I don't think I would have guessed that this was going to run like this, but
I mean, the two runners right now are Dark Eclipse, but we also have Italian Rot that is still holding quite well and did an 80H today.
did really. Here,
Yeah.
we'll go back. Um, I guess this is from all the chains. Let me limit it to Solana. Damn, we should have got in on this one.
Yeah,
What
we're
is
talking
this?
about it.
Oh,
This is the-
fuck. Italian rot? This is what we're talking about on
Yeah.
Monday, right?
And we talked
Yeah.
about it on the stream the week before too.
And it just pumped even harder?
Yeah.
Fuck, I need to pay more attention to
I mean,
the
it's like
trenches.
all over my Instagram feed.
Oh, you have
It's,
them now.
How do you have them on Instagram? Man, I need to improve my algorithm because I only have like chicks on my feed.
I'm
I,
pretty sure if I
I don't know if you'd call having Italian brain rot on your feed like an improvement necessarily, but maybe better alpha.
Yeah, I think Sam is
Yeah.
looking for alpha. I'm just a
I
horny
mean,
bastard.
actually, to be fair, Fish, if you were here like 2 weeks ago, that was the alpha when it was like tit coin, butt coin, foot coin week. That was our very first week in the trenches, and that's what everything was popping off. So
To be fair, I've been trying to clean my Instagram feed, so I've been like watching and following more food stuff. But yeah, it's still a long way to go.
here's Titcoin. They're still doing good, actually. 18.5 million. It's not bad. I wonder what happened to like the AI 16Zs and all like virtuals and stuff like that. Like, I wonder
I
if
think
anything's still going on.
they bounced well with when the market resumed, but they're still down a lot from their ATH.
Yeah, Zero Bro ripped pretty hard. I saw the other day on one of the charts.
Yeah, I'm generally bearish on agents, man.
Yeah.
I bought agents, never again. But also, like, how much AI you guys using these days? Have you guys tried Manus?
I've
Manus
never even
AI?
heard of it.
Dude, that thing is sick. Like, you need an invite code. That's a proper agent, okay, guys? That is a proper agent. Like, you can give it a bunch of, resumes, tell it to analyze each one, and it will do it for you. It actually is a proper agent, unlike a lot of these. Well, I don't want to judge. I haven't really looked into crypto AI agents, but like,
Is
the real AI agents are like really powerful.
is it built for resumes in particular, or that's just what you used it for?
No, I've actually not used it much. I'm saving my credits for something useful, but you can like ask it to do pretty impressive things. I think what I asked it to do was like I was trying to find like dank memes. I always have trouble finding dank memes, right? So I said, "Oh, find me some dank memes of Pepe," and it actually went out and found all of them.
Maybe I should try it out if I can find it.
Manus AI, it's pretty impressive. You can also ask it to like you can also feed it data of like Tesla stock, for example, and tell it to give you an analysis.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
Holy shit! I bought one of the Pope coins. Pietro Parolin, and it's fucking up a lot now.
Ooh, we did too.
Yeah.
This one?
Where I can't see you on X right now.
Oh, sorry. I always
Yeah,
forget I
you're
gotta switch tabs.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one.
When did we get on it?
I can't remember. I think I'm up like 8x or something.
No way.
Yeah.
Which one is this guy? Is this the Asian
No,
Pope or
that's
the?
Luis. But
I think-
also, I'm looking on Polymarket right now, and so the front runner was Pietro, the second was Luis, and they were like up a lot. But now third and fourth is actually coming up a lot. Matteo and Pizza Bala. So maybe it's like worth taking a punt on those guys.
Okay, these charts are still trending up. I think we might have bought these like at the top of these initial pumps, so definitely not up a lot.
Well, no, because you bought it on Monday, right? You go to the Monday chart. Monday, oh yeah, that's probably right.
I'm assuming we got in probably here. So we're not up too much. But actually, I think I don't actually know how much I put in.
I'm gonna buy this Matteo Zuppi chart. Who knows? He might be a secret winner.
What's the ticker? Is it just Pope?
He's also called Pope, but type in Zupi, Zuppi. Yeah. Is it that one? Yeah, 138K.
Damn, this one's cooking.
I'm gonna take a punt, 0.1 soul. Here we go.
All right,
And
we're
then the other
following.
one is Pizza Bala.
I think we got some of that already, or maybe not.
There's a new one. Let's see, Pierre. It's actually kind of funny. We're just taking punts on who might become the next pope.
Is it this one?
Yeah, his name. That's his name, but trying to figure out which one to buy. His name is Pierre Batista Pizzaballa. Just
What a name!
yeah, pizza baller.
This one's older.
I mean, I'd love him to win because the memes that will come out of it will be amazing. The Pope of Pizza, the Pizza Pope.
We got one that's. I mean, this one's got a little bit more stuff going on today, but then there's one that's 4 months old.
Oh yeah, but that one's like the chart looks dead, right? But you know what? Because it's older, it might be. I don't like buying some of these new coins because at least the older ones, like the dev has had time to just sell everything, right?
Yeah, true.
You know what? I'm gonna take a punt on the old one. Like 6K market cap. You can put in like 0.01 soul.
Yeah, I'll buy 0.01.
Can't even buy it. I think there's no liquidity.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. Damn. Okay. Well, other one it is. I mean, 81K market cap. If they win, it'll be worth it. I'm just gonna do 05. Let me see if we got anything. Oh yeah, I was gonna say. So Mount Doji says he likes Sploot on virtuals. So I'm assuming that's
It's an AI agent.
yeah. Does it have a token? I don't see it popping up on.
How do you spell it?
SPLOOT.
Virtuals would be back. Interesting. I mean, Mount Doji, I trust his picks. I just have not been paying attention, but that's probably where the alpha is. Agent Sploot. Oh, is this the one that is by real Jonah Blake? I think it is.
It's weird. I don't see the ticker when you look it up. Cyber AI pub exploring virtual realms. The problem with AI agents, I feel like, is it's like a lot of them are similar to like meme coin accounts, but like it's just too generic with the content, I feel like, because it's an agent.
I mean, I think there's a lot of skepticism whether they are actually AI agents. Like, what is it? Goat Truth Terminal? People are like, well, it's definitely not a bot. It's probably someone just tweeting.
But I mean,
And
that thing tweeted like a million things per second at the
I mean, they
beginning.
can always just hire content writers, right? Just to constantly tweet. I wouldn't be surprised. I think even people were saying like AI XPT, is that actually an agent or just some content farm in like, I don't know, India just posting content all day, which is very
It's-
possible.
It is possible, yeah.
I mean, even wasn't it Ket was supposed to be an AI trading agent? Like it hasn't made any trades.
I think that only was a thing for like the first 2 weeks or something.
People stopped caring about that, which is fine. It's just a meme coin now.
Yeah, it does seem like this week Solana or like Pope stuff is the main thing on Solana. I know Zora launched yesterday.
Fartcon crossed 1 billion, but maybe it was already the case last time.
I think it had done it before, but it's back up above 1 billion, which
Yeah.
who would have thought that would be like the strongest performer in
I was
like,
thinking
all
about
of
this, like why
the
is
market.
Fartcoin so doing so well? And yes, it's like also the meme, but I think it's also the distribution, right? Because like the origin story of a lot of these meme coins is the dev will own a ton of supply and they get their insider buddies to come in. And because they control supply, they can pump it up a lot, right? But then when it dumps, it will just dump forever because they need to distribute that supply. And it can take, months to a year for it to fully bottom. But Fartcon, on the other hand, bottomed pretty quickly. And it's because it was like created by an AI agent, wasn't it? By Goat. So no one could actually buy a huge portion of supply early on. And if you look at some of the the top holder stats, like I'm sure some people own a big supply, but it's not as imbalanced as it is with other meme coins. Like Peanut, for example, like you check the stats on that, and I think like the top holders own like 80% or something ridiculous like that.
Is that how Farcoin started?
Yeah, that's it was Truth Terminal that kind of like mentioned it. I think they created it as well, or maybe someone else created. I'm pretty sure they created it, and no one was it was pretty fair launch. No one was able to buy a huge chunk of it early on.
Yeah, it says Truth Terminal.
This is also the reason why people are pissed off at Goat, because they're like, well, if Fartcoin, like at first, Goat was higher market cap than Fartcoin, then Fartcoin flipped, and people started buying the Fartcoin beta. Well, the Goat beta was Fartcoin, then Goat became the Fartcoin beta. So people started buying Goat as the Fartcoin beta, but Goat just kind of going down.
Yeah.
Now
Gold went to
it's
zero,
like completely
basically.
dissociated, right?
I mean, yeah, it's down to that. I mean,
It's like it has no life. Like it needs CPR big time. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of sad. The meme coins, like I lost money in a lot of meme coins. Not gonna lie.
I bought into the meme coin cycle thesis too late, which is exactly
Yeah.
how it's supposed to happen. But
I mean, even like Blub and Wink, like I think Blub made a lower low. I'm like, fucking hell.
yeah,
Like yesterday.
I think
Just
a lot of people sold Blub and Wink for Boy, like in the last
that
hours.
would make sense. Boy's interesting because, well, first of all, I think they fucked up their launch. Like, there's two ways to do this, right? Either you telegraph the launch time, but you really make sure you have anti snipe measures in place. Not just like some pseudo anti snipe measures, but like actual like foolproof, bulletproof anti snipe measures. Or you just make it completely random. And I wrote a tweet about this. Launch the CA at a completely random time, not even a telegraphed window of time. And that gives bots no time to prepare. I think Alon from Pump Fun actually said it correctly. He was like, telegraphing when you're gonna launch is actually the most inegalitarian way because it gives snipers time to set up. And I mean, he's obviously shilling Pump Fund, right? Because Pump Fund, you just announce the CA, you don't even announce the time. But I think he's also correct in his logic there. But if you look at the chart of Boy, like people only focus on the first hour and they look at that up candle, down candle and say it's gone. But let's kind of think a little bit more objectively here, right? The pre-sale FDV. By the way, I'm not in Boy, okay, just to let you guys know. I was accepted into pre-sale, but I forgot to send my allocation money. And so I just don't own any Boy. But I decided to comment on this because it is the hot topic of the day. So pre-sale FTV is actually 1 million. The lowest it got to was what, 1.9, and now it's at 2.6, 2.7. Like, if you just ignore the first hour, would you say this is a failed launch or a successful launch? You know, like, hey, pre-sale FTVers are up. Obviously, if you bought in the first few minutes, you got wrecked, most likely, unless you had a bot yourself. I do think that they were absolute rookies for telegraphing. I think there's people even saying like they even noticed the deployer making honey pots, right? Like it's very obvious that they were being watched, their wallets, and they would get sniped.
Yeah,
But
I
if
think
it makes a higher low here, I would say that, hey, look, because we were reading on LJ Discord, and some people were like, oh, I hate this launch, it's doing shit, and I'd be like, well, are you at least break even? He's like, no, I'm up like 3x on my pre-sale. I'm like, bro, what? Yeah, what are you complaining about then? You know, like,
yeah, I mean, I think everyone was spoiled with the Ket Wink, and then I guess the first day of Blub, and so now anything that's not going like that is seen like a failure. I do think
I
I saw
mean, this is
this.
funny though, because would you rather have a good launch? Because Blub and Wink had amazing launches, but the days after the launch were not great, right? So it's like a big question. Would you rather have token A, which is good launch, but followed by a bad post launch, or token B, which is a bad launch followed by a good post launch?
I mean, probably token B for if you're here for a long term type trade or like community, then you probably want B. If you are the guy who's going to just get out as soon as possible, you probably want A. I think the problem is what if it's option C, where it's a bad launch and also a bad post launch? So it just kind of depends on what happens next, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, let's ignore chart aside, right? I'm not playing favorites here. I still own my Wink and my Blub. I don't own any Boy. I don't own Ket. Honestly, I don't care to be on anyone's side. I just like to judge objectively as much as possible. Like, I like what Boy is doing in terms of their onboarding process. They managed to get a lot of people to use their Bear at PFP. I think their gallery is great for sharing memes and being viral. That's something that I see them doing better than, the other meme coins, for example. And yeah, I mean, even the founder, Haki CEO, I never knew him before. He seems to get a lot of hate on Twitter, but you know, I think he does a pretty good job of remaining cool and communicating things. Saying that though, it's not like I'm vouching for him. I can only go by what I'm seeing on Twitter. I don't know him personally. I've had a few DMs with him. But I'm just a little bit baffled by the amount of hate Boy is getting, to be honest.
I think it's lingering annoyance with how things went after Blub, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I get that too. I just think it's not exactly fair for them. I can see why people say, okay, no more pre-sales, right? I do think that meta is getting exhausted. You know, and there's also like arguments to say, well, they are taking a liquidity away from other coins, but like let's be honest, that's like jealous cope, okay? If you're saying that, you're just kind of being a little bit bitter. Anyways, I'm pretty sure this is somewhat of a spicy take, but honestly, I don't think it should be. I'm always for people who are doing good work and doing their hardest to bring new eyes into Avalanche.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I don't know how much it would have changed anything, to be honest, but I think posting, is it considered good or bad? Like practice, I guess, to post the direct contract address, because isn't that how like a lot of bots end up getting the address, like straight from Twitter?
No, their issue was telegraphing the time window, the launch window, right? Because I was reading like yesterday before the launch that people were saying, well, what are you doing trying to make these anti-snipe measures? You're like manually adding LPs, removing them, like you're an idiot. The people who are saying that, obviously they were observing their wallets, because a lot of these pre-sale funds, they get sent to a wallet. Those wallets were being tracked, okay? And it's clear that those guys were sniping and tracking those wallets because they wanted to snipe the launch. So the boy, they were very naive to telegraph the launch window, but also just not using fresh wallets to deploy the liquidity. If you use a fresh wallet and you don't telegraph the time that you launch, it gives bots no time to prepare. You know, bots cannot just like bots, they're just forced to then constantly look on the blockchain for a new token called Boy, but you're also at risk of just getting wrecked by fake tokens, right? But if they know that there is a telegraph window of time, then they reduce their risk a lot.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, I think that we should probably wrap it up today. I think we have a meeting
We do.
soon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, those of you who were watching. We spent more time today in the charts than the trenches, but I think it was good for both. We bid some Pope coins. Gonna see who ends up becoming the Pope, and maybe we'll make a buck off one. But yeah, highly recommend anyone here to join the LFJ Discord. You know, we got a lot of people in there chatting about pretty much anything you could want. So we got options traders, leverage traders, trenchers. So would love to have more of you guys in there. So please join us. And yeah, thanks for joining. Let's fucking Joe. We'll see you guys next week on Monday.
Let's fucking Joe.
It's
Thanks,
fucking
guys.
Joe.
Let's fucking Joe.